Welcome back to episode 9 of New Dad Order Podcast. This episode, Ray and I dive deeper into our foundations of faith. Ray recalls a couple miracle moments, one that involved a head-on collision. We also talk about the passing of my mother and what it was like growing up at such a young age without that mother. Talk about guardian angels and trusting your gut and what that means to each of us, where we kind of come to an understanding of what that may possibly mean for people whenever you say trust your gut. We also talk about addiction. We talk about praising our kids and how do we do it and the types of ways that we praise our kids. And we also get into a little bit of movie talk as well, where Ray enlightens us on more nerd culture, which I truly love hearing about from this side. We do appreciate everybody for tuning in and listening to us. Make sure you hit the subscribe button as well. We get a lot of views on our shorts, and we need you guys to hit the subscribe button as well. We have a lot of people out there, a lot of parents that are trying to get better at being a parent. And Ray and I, that was our goal whenever we started this, to become a better parent and a better person as well. We do appreciate you guys. Make sure you hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. Now, let's go.
Welcome to the New Dad Order Podcast. My name is Ray. We got Parfait over there.
How you doing, everybody? How are you, Ray?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Awesome. Hey, I wanted to get into something right quick. Hey, how do you feel about the whole thing on trusting your gut? Trusting your gut.
So trusting my gut, I think that in theory, I want to believe that trusting my gut is the right thing to do, right? But as we've talked about, I've played poker, right? So very analytical when it comes to things, and I'm very calculated. So I think trusting my gut is not an emotional reaction. I think my gut reaction is something that is shaped by me having processed what has been going on, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah, it does. It does.
So why are you a big trust your gut guy?
Yeah, I've been, going through the internet, the social medias and whatnot.
Okay.
Thinking more, religiously. We haven't really talked much about that. And I know a lot of the stuff that we do is without having to say, we walk by faith.
Right.
Right. But all of everything that we do is backed by our faith. I think, it's the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, right? Those three things that reside within us when we accept Jesus Christ into our hearts. And we understand what he's done for us in order for us to be without sin, right? So the blood was shed. I think the hunches that we get through life,
okay,
when you feel that little, when you hit that path and there's that V and it's like, do I go down this road or go down this road? And that little jab over here or that little gut feeling that you get, I think it's your guardian angel. I think that's who's like hitting you up and saying, hey. And it's not a verbal thing or something that you can hear, but that thing that says that just doesn't feel right if I go down that path over there. Let me go this way.
Hey guys, want to talk to you real quick about a product that is really great for recovery that has just become a very vital part to me as I continue to age, and all these dads out there listening that are going through the same thing that want to make sure that they can keep their energy level up and get that rest that they need. Thirdzy is a product loaded with a bunch of things, which one thing it does not have is melatonin, so you won't be groggy in the morning. Check it out. Promo code NDOZZZ to get you a discount at checkout. You won't be disappointed. It'll help all your recovery to get you ready for the next day. Talk to you about a new pre-workout, relatively new to the market, new to myself as well, but it's getting the job done. It's not loaded with caffeine like a lot of the other pre-workouts. So if that's what you're looking for, then this probably isn't the product, but it is based in nootropics, which actually helps brain function. So if you've ever deep dove into that, this is part of what that product has right here. Going to get you ready for the workout. I'm a 5 a.m.er. Like I said, I need it. A lot of flavors. Hit the link in the description. It'll take you to the website. You'll get a New Dad Order discount. Pick your flavor. Bunch of other products as well. They have canned energy drinks. So thanks for listening. Check out Dubby and get that workout in. religion becomes a very difficult topic at times because your faith is very personal to you because it is your faith, right? You can't have the same faith as someone else because what you value is different than what I may value. For instance, you putting that as in like a guardian angel kind of helping steer you. I'd say that that's probably one that doesn't stick in my head very much as far as a guardian angel aspect of the way my faith carries me. Spiritual guidance is not as much of the guardian angel guiding me through a path as much as spiritual guidance for me is self-reflection, understanding that bigger things have happened before me and using my self-reflection moments to help me make a decision. Yes, it could be broken. Yeah, that's your guardian angel. Like I said, for me personally, with my faith aspect of it, I don't necessarily see it as those moments. I'll pray on things, I'll see things, I'll process it, but from an analytical standpoint, trusting that my self-reflection was guided through God. So he helped guide my thoughts in that self-reflection to help me make the decision that is best for me, my family, or whoever it may involve. I'm trying. Is that clear?
No, I think what you're breaking down to me may be something that we actually had to think about, something that we actually had to pray about, something that was sitting in our minds or in our thought processes longer than just something instantaneous, right? Like when we get to a situation, like let's say you're driving down the street, and then you feel like why am I? And then you turn, like you instantly just at the last
Okay,
second,
so almost
like something like
almost
that.
in one of the like a divine intervention moment, almost
Divine intervention, almost like that.
yeah,
But
like why was I was 5 minutes late and I avoided that incident that happened on the road, that type of thing.
But something might have told you, let me go grab this. But it wasn't like I want to be that 5 minutes late. But because of the 5 minutes late, it did so, right? But something told you to go grab a bottle of water.
Right.
Something just told you to go grab a bottle.
Yeah.
You don't remember it.
You forgot your wallet in the house, and so that right there delayed you leaving. So you went back in to get it. And
something
then,
like that, right?
I guess.
Versus, I understand what you were saying.
No,
that's
but
good.
but a lot of
That's
people
good.
see that. That never hits me as.
Well, think about it going forward.
I know, yeah.
Think about it going forward,
and I think I just never. I never put that in those terms. I'm not saying, I got lucky, but lucky in the sense of, lucky and somebody was looking out for you right there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have enough of that in me. A lot of people do. And I don't roll my eyes because someone said, oh man, I was protected today and I got, God was looking out for me or my guardian angel was looking out for me because I went back inside to get a bottle of water and that led to these chain of events. I never processed it that way. I probably should.
No, I'm like you in that aspect. Like this happened. There was a big accident. I was late. Man, wow, that was just 3 days later. Oh,
yeah.
Right? Maybe
okay,
I processed it that way.
Yeah, not
So,
instantly as you saw it. Like, oh, that was more. It was some reflection of, oh my gosh, that was a horrible situation, and then you start to think about how lucky you were to not be there at that moment.
And like coincidences, the luck thing. I think, and I'm saying that based off of what I saw today.
Okay. Well,
Based off what I saw today. It's just seeing different things on social media.
Oh, okay.
How people
okay,
are talking,
okay.
right, and how they were talking about how this happened and that happened, and how the gut feeling feels more like someone's watching over you, and you gotta just run with those gut feelings, and because those gut feelings are good for you, and I never thought about it that way in those moments, like you're saying, like someone go, Jesus was with me, he protected me in that moment. Because they realized it. Never thought about it that way. It was always maybe 2 or 3 days later, and there's a testimony right there.
I think people struggle to give in to that, myself included, of being protected through the Lord or whatever spiritually, because we don't want to feel, or say we. I'm going to say myself. I don't want to feel as though I'm presented with a situation I couldn't control. Knowing that there's a situation I can't control, but by me giving into it happened for a reason. I'm like, no, it happened because it had to happen that way. That was the only way. But it was still me thinking that I had some kind of control over the outcome of that event. I'm not sure if I'm losing you on that at all. Basically, yeah, like I don't want to give in to the fact that I didn't have control over it. Although I need to have more times in life where realizing that it is out of my control. I didn't influence that as much as I wanted to think I may have.
You know what's funny? As a young guy, even in my 40s, that was my thought process. Like, I control all this. Like, nothing's going to happen. I control. There are going to be times where, so I got in a car accident going to work for Schwann's. I meet my guys at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. Down ramp. Did I talk about this at all? No, probably not. It was one of those ramps. You know those when you go towards Houma, you go towards that big bridge.
Okay, yeah. So you're coming exiting off.
So when you take off, when you come off 10, you go down that road towards Houma. There's those exits like over to Kenner and whatnot. Well, the way those exits go, I don't know if you ever taken one of those exits. It's like a one road. It's not. There's nothing. It's just right here. I took the exit, the next exit, and you can't.
There's nowhere to go.
There's nowhere to go. Right? There's nowhere to go. I saw a car coming up the exit. You can't. You're not supposed to come.
Yeah, they're not supposed to be
there.
Not
supposed to be coming up. So I saw it, and then I woke up. I saw it, and then I woke up. So that car was 3 o'clock in the morning. They were obviously inebriated, and they smashed my car. I woke up with blood and going, I can't believe I got knocked out, first of all, right? I can't believe I got knocked out. I get out the car, he jumps out the car and he runs. But it was a situation I could not control.
Zero control over it. Nothing you can do. Absolutely
right?
nothing.
No. And in that moment, I realized. That
guy controlled the situation by his mistakes.
A little bit, right? A little bit. But in that moment, I realized I can't control it all. I can't control it all.
Yeah, so you had a big defining moment of not being
Absolutely,
able to control.
absolutely. And that has nothing to do with the gut thing because there's nothing I could do because I could tell it that something was going to happen. But what's crazy is I can't remember from seeing him 200 yards away and waking up. I don't know if it's God saying I'm not going to let you remember this.
Yeah.
or just physically, I'm just not going to remember this. But I don't remember anything from that, like going, because I broke my hand. So I smacked my hand on the roof. I don't know what happened. And sometimes I tell my wife, I'm like, I really want to know what happened. Did I scream like a, or what? You know what I mean? Like, what happened? And it just will not let me remember. But when you talk about, I want to be in control of something like that, it just, there's going to be things like with your body, like you're doing a lot of things now for your body, right? You're taking the supplements, you're the tea, all that stuff to help make sure that you are in control of your body even when you get older, right? The CrossFit that you're doing on a daily basis.
Yeah.
You're making sure that you have that kind of control.
Yeah, and control can be a tricky thing, thinking you start to get a God complex at certain times, thinking that you could possibly control everything. I'm not naive enough to think that I control it. I don't think anybody is. I don't think anybody's naive enough to think that they control everything. I think people fall into ruts where the control consumes them. And I think it happens where so much of the stuff we talk about so far has had to do with parenting. And I think that has a big thing to do with it as well, where, there is a certain level of God complex whenever you're raising a child where you're trying to guide them, and guiding them becomes controlling them. Controlling them usually creates resentment at some point in time whenever you have this controlling aspect, of your kid. And so, I don't know, giving into no control is a really tough thing to do.
It is. The other part, and hopefully you never learn this. You never, like when we get headaches, you can't control the headaches.
Can't drink more water.
Well, that's what they say,
yes,
right?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, though. Yeah, you're trying.
Salt, right? A little more salt and
but it's me thinking that I can control that, but sometimes you just have a headache.
Yes, right. You got a headache. So there's things like I went through AFib once, right? I went through AFib. So I've got that issue. I've got the possibility of me going through AFib at any moment, right? I don't know if do you know what that is?
I don't.
I don't know how to say the actual word, but AFib is when your heart gets off beat
Okay.
and it makes you feel really weak, and it's pitter pattering like this, and it's telling you I'm off beat, and at any moment, because of the way it's beating, it can pump some blood to you the wrong way, like a clot, and you can have a stroke. That's why,
wow.
yeah. So that's why when people go in and they have the AFib, it's almost as bad as a heart attack, almost as bad. But you can have, so the first time that ever happened to me, I was admitted, and the next day they were going to shock me, like put an actual thing in my mouth, and they were going to shock my heart back into rhythm. But the lady touched me. This is incredible. The lady touched me. She's like, this has happened to 2 people so far this morning. Let's see what happens to you. And she touched me, and my heart went back to on rhythm. And she's like, yep, it worked. Like,
Yeah.
amazed.
Yeah.
Right? Amazed.
I do think I'm not dumb enough to think that miracles don't exist.
Well,
that's for sure.
And that's what has driven me to the realization that we can't control everything, and these gut feelings are pretty fantastic. And because, like for instance, we talked about how we almost have this God complex with our kids.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we sort of want them to look at us like that, as the big protectors. Like,
yes.
Nothing's going to happen when I'm around. Nothing's going to happen. Like, we want to make sure that is their thought process, because we eventually want them to think the same way because they're going to have that feeling. Because see, to this day, even when I saw my dad when he passed away, I was like, "There's no way you're supposed to die."
And that's actually,
Right.
my head was going into that same line right there, where you've obviously had, between the car wreck and the heart situation, being there where the doctor, the medical staff person was able to, let me see if this works. You've had some moments right there to kind of really strengthen your faith in there is a higher power out there. And I would say that, unfortunately, I've had a lot of moments that have stuck with me. I say a lot, a very defining moment that has stuck with me to question those things. And it has to do with losing my mom at such a young age and not being able to process it. I was 6 years old, right? 6 years old. I still remember where I was at whenever I found out that my mom had died. I was at my uncle and aunt's house, where I have a cousin that's a year younger than me, and I was hanging out there, and the news was broken to me. They are sitting on that couch, that standard 1980s flower brown pattern couch with the wood armrest. Like, I know where it was up against this wall.
Plastic?
Not plastic.
Okay.
But like, I remember that. I mean, it's it's a moment in my life that there's no way I could forget, that moment of being told that, not even knowing what those words meant. Like, oh, I'm never going to see her again. I was 6 years old.
Right.
And I think that has stuck with me to not be as strong in faith my whole life, because resentment of the why with no explanation of the why, but yet continuing raising doubt, trying to find a better place. If we want to really, bring things into where did my faith get stronger again? Now, I was, like I said, raised Catholic. Everybody, we went to church on a regular basis. We did these things, went to a Catholic school, never doubted any of that. Never doubted my faith from that standpoint. But I had questions of the validity of everything that I was taught, and including religion, question the decisions that my dad made, question the decisions that my aunts and my uncles made, teachers made, question so much, because something that can never be replaced was taken away from me. It took years to understand of why I questioned things, why I was such a skeptic about stuff, why I analyzed things at such a young age, because I had a lot of people talking to me about a lot of different things that I didn't even know what they were saying. I didn't know why they were saying it. But as I got older, I started to understand why these questions were being asked, why these conversations were being had with me. Mm-hmm. And it was basically to check on my mental state, to make sure that I was doing okay. I can't tell you if I was or I wasn't. I never got into trouble, never acted out from that standpoint. I was spoiled. People bought me things because I think they were trying to make up for stuff. And I wasn't spoiled to the sense that I was just this intolerable brat.
Right.
Right. But I know I was looking back. I'm like, oh yeah, they definitely got me stuff just, because someone probably felt sorry for me, and try not to. And then I tried to, did I manipulate those situations? Did I make them feel that way? And then assign self-doubt or self-guilt, as I got older about this stuff. And then I realized like that is a way to drive myself absolutely crazy. So like move on, like understand that I had no control over that. My faith got stronger whenever I met the person that I'm now married to, because she was raised in a strong faith family. And that brought it back to me where there were times whenever I didn't go to church in my 20s. And as I got older, I mean, all through high school and first couple of years of college, but then there was that period of probably about 4 or 5 years where I didn't, and I got away from it, but yet she did. And then we started dating, and then I started going back to it. And then now it's like, oh yeah, like that was my window of, I guess, rebellion, but not really, just kind of really question things, dismiss stuff. And then she brought me back into that. And I'm very grateful that she did, because I don't take that for granted. So yes, that's, if we want to go that spiritual route of it, that was, to me, when I look back, that was my mom working through someone to get me back to where I needed to be. And it was through her,
That's awesome.
And I think that right there, like that, there's no explanation for it. I could have easily met a girl that didn't go to church, and I'm sure I'd have had a happy life too. I mean, if that was the case, because I'd have found somebody that I wanted to be with. But at the same time, like, there was a reason why I wanted to be with someone where that was not a common interest at the time, but yet it became something. It became the foundation of our relationship as we grow. So I'm like, yeah, like that's the person I am supposed to be with. So no, she definitely brought that back to me. So she sews. There are not many people that know how to sew nowadays.
No.
And that was one thing that my aunts, whenever she made our Halloween costumes one time whenever we were dating. We went as Popeye and Olive Oil.
Okay.
And
That's
we went
cool.
and we dropped in before we went to the actual costume party. We stopped in at my grandma's house where all my little cousins and my nieces and nephews, and they were all trick-or-treating. And we showed up dressed in our costumes. And my aunt, she called me the next day, and she was just like, she made y'all costumes. She was like, that's the kind of stuff your mom used to do. She used to make everybody's costumes for
Oh, wow. Okay.
so like that's like a little thing that I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so that's the thought process. Oh, was someone put her here to pick up those spots that my costume making stopped when I was 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. It waited till I was like 26 before it picked up again.
Yeah.
And she did the same thing. She does the same thing for Luke. She would make him his costume. His first Halloween, he was Mike Wazowski from Monsters Inc. She made it for him.
I'm just, I mean, that had to hit a little bit too.
No, it did, because it brought back, like, yes, I was Alvin from Alvin and the Chipmunks, and that's the last costume I remember my mom making for me.
Yeah. Wow.
So
that is a great story, man.
Yeah.
That's a great story. A great story of redemption too. Golly.
But no.
That hit me a little bit, man.
Yeah. It's a tricky thing. There's a lot of tricky conversations. Politics, tricky conversation. Parenting in what we consider the right way, tricky conversation.
Yeah.
Faith, very tricky conversation.
Yeah.
It could be one that shuts down stuff. That's what they say. How do you, the conversation you don't want to have, religion and politics.
Yeah.
Right? Why?
Right.
Because it provokes so much emotion.
Right.
People want to, there are certain things that are not going to be a right or a wrong thing because it's yours. Your politics are very personal to you. Mm-hmm. Your faith is very personal to you.
Right.
I can't expect you to have the same as mine. You can't expect me to have the same as yours. That becomes emotional maturity of understanding that and being able to have those conversations with people.
And just to have the conversation. Like, I mean, if you want to talk about it, let's talk about it.
Yeah. And not sit there and try to top each other's story of their personal, relationship with God. There is nothing that is, it's going to sound powerful because you're speaking with such emotion for something that means so much to you. Mm-hmm. I'm going to pick up on that. Whenever I say something, it's going to sound powerful to you if you're strong in faith, because you're seeing the connections in your own head of how that came together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you can see it different than me hearing the same story. My story is going to resonate different with you.
Right.
Yeah.
No, when I hear different stories, that's a great story. But there's a lot of stories. I'm pretty sure you've heard a lot of these stories too. Where I was on drugs. I was an alcoholic. I was a sex addict. I was like, man, yeah, I never went through all that, and I've been a Christian since I was a kid, and and I would never say anything to that stuff. I just let me just keep on.
No,
keep on going, keep on trucking.
It's very hard to have an opinion of something that has never directly affected you. Addiction is something that does run through my family.
Yeah,
it does.
I have an addictive personality,
and I'm
too.
very aware of it. And I start to wonder, okay, am I doing, or the things I'm doing because it's an addiction, or because I'm actually enjoying what I'm doing? And I'm very conscious of it, even from the standpoint of, the sweat shed that we're sitting in, right? And the waking up at 3:50. Am I addicted to the waking up at 3:50? Could I fall down the path of something else? It happens to a lot of people. And I'm like, well, no, I think I've just created a habit, and I'm not going to call it an addiction. Food. I got overweight. Was I addicted to food, or did I create a habit? I think that addiction and a habit are two different things. So I'm very aware of the fact that addiction does play a role in my life because of the people that are in my life, to where I want to make sure that the things that I am doing is establishing a habit and not a response to an addiction that I may be forming.
So what do you think your definition of an addiction? Well, like what do you have?
It's uncontrollable. It's a void that's uncontrollable, looking for a certain type of dopamine release. Like, that's what it is. It's not done because of the enjoyment of it. It's done because you need to experience that to create a feeling.
And you would do so, destroy your family?
I think it's possible.
Right.
I mean, even so, when we talk about poker, yes, because it foundation of our friendship, but it is something. People see poker as something as it's gambling. Oh, you're going to a casino, you're gambling. It is, but as I said before, I started playing, and I've never gone into my bank account to go play. I'm very aware of that. Am I making decisions to go do something that affects my family? Mm-hmm. Or myself, even before my family, myself? Am I taking a cash advance out on a credit card to go play poker?
Right. Which we know many have.
A lot of people have. Yeah. And so that's a self-awareness that I have. Well, if I didn't have that self-awareness, then I would think that I would be more susceptible to an addiction of gambling, only because it's the easy topic to talk about right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Very aware of it too. I had a kegerator in our backyard at our old house, right? Had 2 beers on tap at the house at all times. It would be very easy to drink a beer every single night, or 2 beers or 3 beers or whatever that turned into. I was very conscious of the fact that I had beer on tap in my backyard that was meant for parties and gathering. So I got to make sure that I don't go to that every single night, and know that I don't have a problem with drinking.
Right.
So I realized, I'm like, oh yeah, I had to throw out kegs, because I'm like, hey, we need to have a party to get people over here so we don't waste these 2 kegs of beer. That right there is one of those little moments in my life that I was very happy with, knowing that because of the people that were in my life battling addiction,
right,
that I don't have that one, because I'm faced with it and it doesn't even faze me. I don't need that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I set up tests for myself to know if I had. Now the problem is the fact that if I did form that addiction, would I be able to reach out for help? Would I lie to myself like so many addicts do? I'm setting up tests for myself, but the only way to know that you're passing as, I mean, to not fail, meaning to not fall into something that ruins your life. It's it could be very tricky. It could be very tricky
It's a slippery
to set
slope,
myself up in a spot to fail, or as I see it, as a spot to have real awareness. And I think that if I would have noticed that, say with drinking, just for the fact that we're talking about the keg, if I'd have noticed that I'm ordering kegs and we're not having parties in the backyard, I got to pump the brakes. I got to stop. And I think I'd be able to do that before it got too bad, or someone would, or my wife would have told me. She'd be like, "Hey," and in fact, you know what? So, wow. All right. So this is kind of funny in a sense. Whenever you get married in a Catholic church, you go through pre-Cana, right? You meet with a priest, and you have these classes and this whole process that goes before you actually get married. So you'll meet with them. I don't even remember now, maybe once a month up until, the wedding there is. So depending on how long your engagement is, you go to this retreat with other couples. You have these very in-depth conversations that revolve around faith, marriage expectations, just different things, right? So the priest that married us is a childhood friend, but it was really my childhood friend's little brother. All right. Okay. So that was the priest, but I've been knowing him. He's a couple years younger than me. So we went to elementary school together. We went to high school together. We've known each other before we had to call him father. All right. And so it was really cool because actually the first couple he married as a priest was Carolyn and I. All right. He had married people when he was a deacon. We were the first ones that he married as a priest.
That's cool.
So it was really cool just to have somebody that I've known for so long be the person to go through the sacrament of marriage with. He was there. Well, whenever we're going through this pre-Cana stuff, you answer questions. We had it was like 50 questions, whatever it is, a bunch of questions. So we're answering the questions, and one of them was Carolyn answered the question, and he got really nervous because he was going through the notes from the time before, and we're meeting. He was like, all right, so I'm going through the questions, and I see one, and there's just one that we need to talk about. And he was very nervous. He was not an extremely nervous guy. He was he's confident, he's kind-hearted, super, just a great person. And it was, Carolyn, you were worried about Jared's drinking. And I'm like, what? And Carolyn's like, what? And we look at it, and our reaction, he can tell that she answered the question wrong. Oh. Because it was just like drinking. I'm like, and it was just such one of those moments where it stuck with me because I was like, well, maybe she didn't answer it wrong. Maybe she really was worried about it. And then I'm like, no, I don't even know when was the last time I drank a beer, much less multiple beers or anything else. I don't drink hard liquor. I'm like, oh gosh. But then it was in the back of my head in that moment right there when we were going through the pre-Cana stuff, and he had to confront us about her nervousness because of my drinking. It freaked me out. And I'm like, I can't do that. Like, no. And so, yeah, very aware of it before we even started dating, very aware of it throughout our entire marriage. And then the fact that was, she basically misclicked the button there and said that she was worried about my drinking. And I'm like, I only drink when you drink. And so, yeah, so that was an odd moment for us, but it stuck with me. I still remember that moment. Yeah. I'm still aware that I'm putting myself in certain situations that I want to make sure that I'm not addicted to something.
Well, that's just some next level maturity though. At the same time, just to stay in it and just be like, well, yeah, no, that's good. That's good. Because there are people that they won't.
No.
Okay, whatever. It just blows by.
Yeah, and I'm conscious of the little dude too, and I'm like, man, if you have an addict in the family, that stays in the bloodline. That's a possibility for anybody. Mm-hmm. And so observing the way that he does things, and I'm like, he's definitely got a little bit of an addictive personality just from his hobbies and his drive to do something could be not seen as addiction and like, oh gosh, like he goes all in. But is it that, or is it an addiction? And I don't know. I don't know. He got obsessed with figuring out Rubik's cubes. Right? He's like, I'm going to figure out how to do a Rubik's cube. So he figured out how to do a Rubik's cube. So he could do a regular Rubik's cube, and then he figured out how to do like 8 other different cubes. And he can just boom, figure it out. Brain processes. Obviously, there's a level of intelligence that it takes to do it in the process and see it. But then there was a moment where he was like, I want to learn how to draw. So he's a good artist. He taught himself how to draw. So I'm like, that's great. Like, you're learning these things. He puts in a lot of work. He does these things. It could be really annoying to talk about him because no. Because he does these things all on his own. And if I really wanted to make people not like me, I could post every single thing that he does on my social media. And it would be like, oh my God, get over yourself. But I still observe him do these things. I still observe him with the cubes, with the drawing, with the sports, and just his fascination with trying to learn. He wanted to learn how to skateboard. You know what he was doing? He was in the garage. It's 30 degrees outside, so the garage door's closed. He's got a spot. He's got YouTube up, and he's learning how to do skateboard moves. He's going to figure it out.
Yeah.
You know?
No, that's,
but I know.
I get it.
But it's like, does it get there?
I get it. I mean, does it affect his sleep schedule? You know what I mean? Like when it starts doing that, that's when you really got to go, oh, that's when the alarm's going to boop. Because I think that's where I'm at with my gaming. I think that's where I'm at with my gaming. Just listen to what you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I heard you say that
aware.
you and your son.
Yeah. I mean,
got stuck in an 8-hour
session.
Yeah.
8-hour session. But I mean, I don't think that it's when you do it. If you do that every day, that becomes one of those addictive things, and it affects you in that way. Yeah. So no, that's good. That's
no.
Good
I mean,
that aspect of it.
If you did it every day, yes. But like I said, obviously it's a thought because I'm bringing it up right now that, hey, I got to make sure that I'm observing everything he does because he does go through these moments of obsession trying to figure something out. Could it lead to an addiction? Yes, it's like a parent's nightmare to wonder, how did I mess up if a kid, but it happens, obviously. I mean, we know people who have lost kids to that, and it's not going to change.
What kind of conversation do you have about that, though? And when do you have that conversation?
I don't know.
See, because I never thought about having that conversation.
So having the conversation is one thing, and this is something that it goes along the lines of like a parenting philosophy, right? That it didn't start off as a philosophy for Carolyn and I, but we realized it through observation of what we were doing, and then I saw like an Instagram reel on it. And I'm like, well, that's very interesting. So let me deep dive into it and start looking up actual data. What was this, right? And the whole premise of it was praise for your kid based off of results or based off of effort. Okay? And I say this, what could this have to do with addiction? Well, it could have to do with the breeding grounds of what are they focused on? What are they geared to? Right. So that's why that's what got me into this train of thought right now to bring up this topic. And I realized that we don't, you know what? Before I even give you my answer, I want to ask you.
Okay.
I want to ask you, how do you praise your kids for, do you praise your kids for their results? Do you what do you praise your kids for the most? Like when they do good, or what is the first thing you tell them whenever they achieve something? How about that? Whenever they reached a goal, made an A, whatever. How do you respond to them whenever they present a success?
All depends. All depends.
What would be your most common?
Well, I mean, look, so when they were younger and they picked something up and it was trash and they took it to the trash can, like 3, 4, 5, something like that, and they threw it away. good job. You know what I mean? Like, at that age. So, you praise something, that you might think is insignificant, but I thought it was significant enough to give them
But
praise.
what about?
So as they get older,
Yeah, all right.
as they get older, there's just different things. Like, I saw him finish, doing the chores. Hey, thank you for taking care of that.
But what about not chores?
Okay.
What about like a goal that they achieved? 4.0 or whatever, an A on a test. She went 10 for 10 from the free throw line for a game.
So, I mean, all that is there is praise, like great job there. The thing, and I'm not as hard on my last daughter about this, but is because she's made A's just about all her life. Like she's a straight A kid. I think she got 1B, and it was some kind of online thing she had to take during COVID.
Okay.
And so she had no support to help her with it, and she got a B. Right? So it sort of messed up her whole thing. But anytime she brings me back number graded report cards, and I'll see a 93, 97, 99, 99, 99, 99. I'm like, what happened with that 93? Great job on these, but what happened on the 93? That's why I said, it depends.
Right.
Like, tell me what happened with the 93. Let's talk about it. But Dad, I know it's an A, but it's a 93. What happened there? So, if it's a goal, something like you're talking about, like a goal, an objective they accomplished, basketball, she had 15 points one game. Congratulations, right? Great job. Yeah, like everything that we see that we can possibly praise, we give it.
Okay.
For all the kids.
All right. So, and I think that's very common. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. All right. So this is what I saw, and then this is what I deep dove into, and then I realized that, oh wow, we got lucky because this is what we do. Let's not stop doing this. So we don't praise results. Never. Right? Not saying we don't say good job, right? But we don't praise the result. We praise the effort that got the result. We question the effort when the result didn't match the expectations that he created. Okay? And it was strictly around that. So if he got a B on a test and we knew that he studied for it, he was prepared for it. It's not, man, why you got a B on that test? Hey, man, you put in the work. You got the grade you got. You did the best you could. Did you make any careless mistakes? No, I didn't. I just didn't know it. Hey, man, that's it. Keep studying. You'll figure it out. On the next test, we'll go from there. Same thing whenever we're practicing. We're practicing sports. We were at the cages the other day. It is whenever we leave, hey, dude, good job working hard. Always good. Not, you hit the heck out of the ball today, dude, man. That's so awesome you hit the ball. You hit the ball so good. You threw so many strikes. Nope, never that. Hey, man, good job working hard. Whenever he goes to his pitching coach, and I always ask him, like, did you work hard? I try to stay out, wait till the session's over. Ask him, like, how did he do? Did he work hard for you? Yeah. Strictly basing the effort, right? And I've made a conscious effort to do it, but we did it even whenever he was little. And what that study said was, I said, I went a long way to kind of get to this point right here. But the study that I saw was they did a controlled group, right? And it was a couple hundred kids, and they gave them these tests to do. Some of them were very easy, and the other group got tests that were harder. They were basically supposed to fail, right? And the group who did really well, they were going to be praised for getting all the answers right. Good job. You're so smart. Good job. Good job. Way to go. The other group was praised on effort. Hey, way to take your time. Way to go through it. You tried really hard. Like, that's what we need to see, right? So one group was praised on the result. The other group was strictly praised on effort, not even really acknowledging the result. Mm-hmm. They kept doing these studies with these kids. And then eventually so it was just that first test they needed to make sure that kids kind of failed. And then after that, every test was the same, right? So it was just the first one that was different. But after that, every test was the same. And they continued to do this with these two groups. And the results started to change. the kids that were always being praised for when they did good, their results started to suffer. The kids that were strictly praised on the effort that they put, results started to get better. Essentially proving that they were looking for the praise of the effort in the kids who were struggling to get the good, to pass the test, even though their grades may have been, the results started to shift. So the effort.
That makes sense.
The praising of the effort was a big deal. And like I said, Carol and I didn't know we were doing that. We started doing that with him whenever he was real little. Mm-hmm. And then I saw that and I'm like, we have got to keep doing that. It has got to something has got to stick in our head consciously to praise his effort every single time. So he knows that that's what we want to see. We want to see good effort. I can't control if school gets really hard, because it will.
Gotcha.
But his effort can always be there.
Yeah, the question was a little tricky.
Yeah, it was a little tricky. Yeah.
Because that's what we do.
You know.
But at the end of the day, it's like, great job on those A's.
Yeah.
Right? Great job on those A's. But yeah, it is about the effort. It's always about the effort. Because like we'll ask, like she'll come home like, I made a B+. What happened?
Yeah, and
like how'd you get?
Because she's prepared, or she puts herself in a position to always make an A. Yeah.
Versus, what'd you do wrong?
Yeah,
right. You don't say what'd you do wrong. She's like, well, what happened? And then she'll go, well, I think I went too fast. Do you think or do you know? No, I did. Yeah. I went too fast.
Didn't check.
Well, there you go. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. So I mean, you know what to do next time. So at this point, it's like that. So no, I get that's good that you're already doing that, because
well, I mean, and it's something that we've done for, like I said, for a long time, but it wasn't something that we set out. Like it wasn't. There's no manual, right? I mean, it's a cliche. There's no manual in this or whatever. But man, whenever you got something right that made sense. Now, mind you, you know what? I'm putting a lot of faith in this study but it makes sense now, because as I see him play sports, I can tell the kids that are praised because they did good and the effort is never part of it. Mm-hmm. We play a lot of sports, a lot of different kids. We're part of a lot of teams. I can tell the kids that get praised on, oh, you did so good. But I know their effort was lacking. I was just watching. I'm like, that kid has played so much harder in different situations whenever the team was rolling. When we were playing really good, that kid was playing harder. No, man, you got to play hard the whole way. If I see his effort lack on the soccer field because they're losing 4-0, I'm like, hey, man, if you get down, then then we got no shot. Because now everybody's feeling sorry for themselves. Like, play hard, get it back. You gave up a goal, go get it back. Just trying to get that out of him, or trying to get that in him to where he responds and, in the competitive aspect. That's one, man. Talking about coaches, I know I'm hijacking a lot of stuff, but I got a lot of thoughts going through my head right now. Mm-hmm. But a coach philosophy that absolutely I hate and I cringe whenever a coach says it is when he tells parents, when coach has a meeting and he tells the parents to be your kid's biggest cheerleader, right? Be your kid's biggest cheerleader out there. Don't get on them whenever they're playing. Don't yell at them. Don't get on them. No, I need you, be their cheerleader. Be out there for them. Cheer for their successes. I don't think that's wrong, but I don't agree with it. And so many coaches say that. You hear it, even as a parent, be your kid's biggest cheerleader.
Do you know why? Do you know why they do it?
Why?
You don't know why?
Well, I want to know, because I want to know I'm going to tell you what I think after, but no.
Because there are some parents who might take it too far, mm-hmm. and then cause issues.
So
right? There's some parents. I don't say they're all bad.
No.
There's some parents who will start yelling negative things, and then somebody else might catch wind of it, and then they'll say something to them, and it starts a roller coaster. Well, and the coach wants to prevent that. That's my philosophy on it. I could be wrong.
I'm not saying no. I'm not. I think you are correct. I think my thing is I don't like the word, right? Because I don't think it's what every coach intends for it to sound like whenever they use cheerleader.
Oh, I don't use cheerleader.
Okay. Well, no, but a lot of them do. But I think that cheerleaders serve a purpose. I think when grandmother and grandfather come to the game, be the cheerleader.
Yeah.
Be the cheerleader. When the aunts and the uncles come to the game, be the cheerleader.
Yeah, but when you're there and
when
you see the effort,
But what I'm saying is when the parents are there, you don't need to be your kid's biggest cheerleader. You need to be their biggest supporter. And I think that that's the word that makes more sense. So be their biggest supporter, which means that when you support someone, you still criticize and you give praise. Like you support them when they're struggling. You're not yelling at them because they're struggling. You know, when they do something good, you're supporting them for it, their effort, their thing.
No, that's good.
I think
That's good.
that word,
Yeah.
when the coaches have their meetings, because we've been a part of so many coaches' meetings because we played on so many different teams, and they're like, you know, and sometimes when it gets bad, I've just heard the coaches use that term cheerleader, and I think it's supporter is the right word. The supporter aspect goes a lot along with the philosophy of praising the effort. So when you support them, I think it steers you into the direction of praising the effort opposed to praising the result, you know, or the good thing.
I totally agree with you.
You know, I think I'm guilty of getting on him at times for sure. And it's usually because I'm aggravated at a lack of focus because I've seen him work so hard. I'm like, don't let that be the reason that you fail.
Yeah.
Fail because the other kid's just better than you.
Yeah.
You know, don't be your lack of focus be the reason that you fail.
Yeah.
You know, same thing too with your daughter. What's up with this? What happened on this 90 right here? You know, oh, I went too fast. Well, don't let that be the reason that bites you in the end.
Yeah.
You know, like don't let that
Right.
lack of attention. You spend so much time on attention to detail.
Because you're right. Because we're like, how long did you study for this? You started 2 weeks ago. And you got the study groups that you guys went to, and you went too fast.
Yeah.
And you finished too quick, and look at the result.
Yeah.
Right? Like, come on. She's like, I know. Yeah.
So,
That's
you know, we'll call that a dad rule right there. So dads, moms, anybody, let's praise effort over the result. So make a conscious effort to praise the effort that is put in, or criticize the lack of effort that is put in. But that be the point of focus whenever we're dealing with the little punks out there in the world.
Yeah, that's a great dad rule. That's a great one. So what happens when they do something and the results aren't good?
Oh, you lock them out of the house and make them to send them to bed with no supper.
Yeah.
No. When the results aren't good, I'm analytical by nature. Carolyn's an accountant; she's analytical by nature. So we're probably the wrong people to ask whenever the results. You know, to me, the results should match the effort. And
no, I'm saying, what if they are good? Is it just a good job?
It's
Let's say the report card. Let's say they do great on the
hey man,
report
good
card.
job. Definitely a good job. Good job. You earned it. You worked hard. Like let's enjoy this. Like let's enjoy the fact that you busted your butt for the last 9 weeks, and you achieved the grades that you were hoping to get. And let's not forget that we got you that. So don't slack off, knowing that if this is what you want, you know the work that you had to put in to get it. Let's keep doing that.
So when mine was young, my last one, all of them really, they had a certain amount that we would give them if they hit.
Oh, so like a
on
reward
roll.
basis.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So if
A was worth whatever.
A was worth this
$10
much,
or
and
something
A,
like that.
B was worth this much, and if you got a C, it's like, hey, maybe next time.
Strictly for the report cards, not for like test grades.
Oh yeah, report cards.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
all right.
report cards. It was always based on report cards. So
Was that the only time that I say the only time? How about that? Did so gifts? So obviously they were earning things based on their grades. Hey, you were acknowledging the fact that hey, you put in the work, you achieved this. We're proud of you, and so were gifts only given on a reward basis or for just because or. I know you got more than me, so it makes it a little tricky because who loves who more?
Yeah, no. Sometimes it was just because, like, if we had them all in, they were rocking and rolling on chores. They were just, just good kids, right? And there's a lot of times they were good kids. Mm-hmm. If we went to the store and I was feeling really froggy, y'all want something?
And you get dad down that toy aisle and tell him what'll happen if you might walk out something for yourself, though, right?
Always. Like they would all come with, like, let's go, Dad.
Let's go to the toy store, Dad.
No, they were like, let's go to the toy aisle.
Yeah,
all
I mean,
three.
It puts you in a good mood.
My-
I could see that.
Oh yeah, my second oldest, like he would be there first. Like I don't see anything really. Like let's really look, son. Let's really look.
This is a process. This
Yeah,
is a process.
a whole process.
Meanwhile, your wife is like, we're on the toy aisle.
Yeah, she
for
knows
dad
what.
or for y'all?
Well, no, you know what? And this is funny too. My kids, they're more Lego kids.
I got a Lego
all three
kid
of them,
too.
right?
Yeah.
All three of them. The oldest, those
like
are all
Legos.
four of them. The oldest was the first one, the Legos. The girls now are just getting into Legos. 21 and 16, just getting
These
into Legos.
builds are insane. Continue. I'll tell you about his builds. Yeah.
The middle one, he wasn't really into a lot of materialistic things. His was more basketball shoes, and I mean he didn't really collect a lot, but like every year when he went and played.
Yeah, he wasn't a sneakerhead.
Basketball.
He wanted shoes to actually play, not like me buying a pair of Jordans just to actually wear.
Right. But sometimes he he did want an extra pair, but he wasn't really. The kids weren't. It was more about can I get? I think you talked about it with Fortnite. Can I get the
battle pass?
The battle passes and stuff like that. It was more about that for him for a little while, and the girls, as they got older, it was the girly stuff. So.
What
But
do
it
you
was
mean by the
it was
girly stuff like
makeup
and all right.
and not too much makeup. It was more,
But just whatever
smelly
that
stuff.
type of
Yeah, all that, and you're going to be
Yeah, I don't have
blessed
to worry about that.
not to have to worry about stuff
No,
like that.
I'm pretty pumped. But no, Legos are really cool. So they don't give away Legos anymore. The better they get to build, that stuff's expensive.
It is
Because and then he kind of gets robbed a little bit on that too because it's Christmas and then his birthday is
they're pretty close.
Yeah, it's 12 days later.
Yeah,
And so we kind of we kind of got to stack some gifts there for him. And so, but he'll do all like the 18 plus builds, right? Do the Captain America shield. It was like 2,800 pieces or 3,400. It was an insane amount of pieces. And he got that for Christmas and he knocked that out in like 5 days. I'm like, yeah, man, like, yeah. And so, yeah, he'll do these builds that are, they're good, but it's really cool too because you can scan the QR code on some of them, not all of them, but a lot of them now. You scan the QR code on the app, and as you're building, the book it's on the iPad, right?
Yeah.
So the build book is on the iPad, but it's not just that. You can rotate the object and look at it 3-dimensionally.
really.
So make sure that you're putting the Lego in the right spot, so you don't put something in. Get 3 pages later and realize that it's not going to fit because of your mistake. So if something looks not great on the diagram, you can rotate the piece and make sure that that's where you're actually supposed to put it.
That is.
It probably makes it a lot easier
outstanding.
for a kid that's 8-9 years old to build one of those complex builds. But yeah, he's done quite a few. Captain America shield was really cool, and then he did a Bowser. The Bowser was really awesome.
Wow, you got to get him a Death Star.
What is the Death Star?
Yeah, Star Wars.
Something Star
Or
Wars.
like.
That's a Star Wars shirt?
Yeah. Reg 5 going in. Yeah, that's when he's going in to shoot the
Who is he?
Luke Skywalker at the end of Star Wars Episode 3. And he's going Episode 4, excuse me. New Hope.
Oh gosh, yes.
New Hope. He's going in and
Did you
got
even watch
Han
the movie,
Solo.
bro?
Yeah, sure did, like multiple times. And Han Solo is protecting him. He's going in and Obi-Wan goes, trust the Force, Luke, trust the Force. And he's like, he's got the rangefinder, which is this.
You're
He's
right.
going,
Yeah.
and he goes, ding, and the thing goes, and he trusts.
You could have won like so much money. There's no way I would have said that was a Star Wars shirt.
Of course not. That's why I like the more subtle like shirts with people that actually know the movie.
Oh yeah,
would have
man.
saw me like, oh, cool shirt, bro.
Yeah, that's deep dive. That's like, yeah.
Geek out, brother.
You really
double
think it's
fist.
like cool? You really think cool shirt, bro, is gonna come out of their mouth?
It has. When I go to Comic Cons, like the St. Tammany Comic Con, I wore a different one. I wore a different Star Wars shirt. And they were like, oh, cool shirt, bro. I'm like, dang.
You're gonna spend so much money in Disney World on Star Wars stuff.
Oh, it's going to be sick.
Yeah,
It's going to be sick.
you should get like a uniform,
A uniform.
like a stormtrooper.
I have the helmet.
Why wouldn't you?
Well, no, I haven't.
You need the pants and the
But the-
shirt
but-
too.
So as a kid, I always wanted to be a stormtrooper.
I believe you.
Didn't understand the significance of the name and where it came from.
Okay, I still don't. Would you like to enlighten me?
Well, allegedly, and I might be wrong here, but allegedly it came from the stormtroopers, where I think they were German soldiers,
Oh, okay.
right? So it came from that piece of history,
Okay.
stormtroopers.
I get it.
Right.
Yeah, I could see that. The very tight formations. Mm-hmm. And we did the ride. The ride is awesome.
Yeah.
By the way. Yeah. The ride is super awesome.
But I always wanted that armor, that whole suit of armor since I was like 8 years old. I wanted that. And I finally got the
The
helmet.
stormtroopers are the bad guys, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or we're the good
Always.
guys.
Rebels. Rebel troopers. And
Oh,
stuff
they're not
like
in uniforms. They're just
just
fighting against the
ragtag
regime.
stuff. Yeah, they're fighting against and they're trying to look like the good guys, and guerrilla warfare and all that good stuff. So I don't know.
You don't know.
I do know.
I thought that was the
but
shirt. I thought you just really like geometry with that shirt.
Is that what it looked like? Yeah.
I could see it. A lot of angles and is that a score?
No, it's the range.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's the range.
Foolish.
Yeah, it's supposed to fire into there, and it just blows up the Death Star.
What's your best Star Wars? What's your favorite Star Wars movie? There's like 9 or 12 of them now, right?
I think it's either the original New Hope or Empire Strikes Back.
Empire Strikes Back's the second one.
Yeah,
So it's kind of like The Godfather. Godfather 2 claimed to, critically acclaimed to be better than the first one. Have you seen
Was
The
it, though?
Godfather?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm just, hey, man,
Absolutely.
I'm checking. You can't
Absolutely.
look at me like that after you just went on a 5-minute rant about your shirt.
No, the Godfather was
I actually,
Outstanding.
I like Godfather 1 better than I like Godfather 2.
I thought it was better, I
But
don't
Godfather 2 with the simultaneous stories going on of
sort
the
of-
old land and here.
know, it sort of threw me off too.
So it didn't. I mean, it didn't throw me off, but it's such a different movie, which is why I think it holds weight. The first one's awesome.
Sure,
The
I-
Mario Puzo book.
Let me make sure I
Last
understand which one had the horse's head in the bed.
That was the first.
That was the first one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my favorite one.
Yeah. So no, that was in fact. I mean, obviously I'd seen the movie, but we were talking about traveling. So my sister lived in England for 3 years, and I went and visited her by myself. I was like 18 years old, 18, 19, and I flew there to go visit her, and didn't have an iPhone. This is like 2000. Actually, it was 2001 because it was
yeah.
a month before 9/11. Yes, I went in August of 2001.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I was just kind of wandering through the airport. I'm like, I need something. I'm about to be on an 8-hour flight, and so I bought The Last Dawn off of, and I read that on my trip to go visit my sister. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, that was like that was in all.
I think The Godfather.
I think they did a pretty good job with the movie. Mm-hmm. So, but it is like 3 hours long. So
Yeah. You ever see the Last Comet? No, you probably haven't seen that one. It's sci-fi.
The Last Comet,
Comet, yeah.
like
The
Haley's
Last
Comet.
Yeah, it's like a B movie. It was like a
I'm
B
gonna say
movie.
it's way less than a B movie.
No, it was a B movie. The girl I had a super crush on was in that. Can't remember her name right now, but she was also in The Last Starfighter. You ever see that one?
Oh man, like she just I
She was
don't.
in that too. She was a
I
girlfriend.
thought Game
The
of
Last
Thrones was
Starfighter.
science fiction until 7 days ago.
No, Game of Thrones.
I
is
know it's fantasy. I'm thrilled to know that
Sci-fi is the stuff you don't like,
it's not. It's just it's not my jam.
which is. But I'm very eclectic in my taste. I'm all over the place, right? Like the Wick movies, John Wick movies. Love all those movies.
Yeah, because that would be science fiction as well.
No, it's not sci-fi.
Well, what is it?
Action and adventure.
But they do stuff that's not. Well, what about the Matrix? What is the Matrix?
Sci-fi.
Okay.
Yeah, that's sci-fi. Yep, it's that technology. Remember?
Yeah, never mind. I'm saying John Wick. You're saying, but I'm thinking more the
thinking of-
Matrix.
Yeah, you're thinking Matrix.
Yeah.
No, Matrix is sci-fi. Wick is contemporary, but more action,
Yeah.
adventure, like the Bourne Identity movies.
So we're gonna do
James
a movie
Bond.
review one day.
We should.
We should.
should.
I can't
But I
watch
got
Star
to.
Wars though.
You don't have to.
I don't think I want to. I think I've made it 43
have
years of my life without seeing it. I think I'm going to try to hang on to that. I don't think I want to give in on watching it. I think I'd like to make it my entire life without ever.
You'll be
seeing
fine.
Star
You
Wars.
saw Spaceballs. That's all you need.
I mean, I watched
all
that
you
one
need.
in a day.
Yeah, that's all you need because it's just like all the Weird Al.
What movie do you hate? How about that?
Hate?
Yeah. What kind of movie do you hate?
I don't really like horror movies.
Okay, I'm with you on that one.
I don't really like horror movies.
Yeah, no.
I didn't like The Exorcist.
I don't like being scared for no reason.
Oh,
I don't like haunted houses. I never understood the value in paying someone to scare me.
I buck up for haunted houses because I had to take my kid. My kids wanted to go to haunted houses.
Like them?
No.
Oh, all right.
No, but I had to buck up. I had to be like, "Rrr." But I was like,
I just waited for them outside.
no. As they got older, I waited. But when they were younger, it was like, come on, Dad. I'm like, all right, let's go.
No,
And I had to go.
I'm not.
Like, ooh, watch out now. Hey, watch out now. Watch. I just had to play. They got me a couple of times though.
So no desire to. Yeah, I'm not on. Well, all right. So outside of a horror movie, what's a movie that everybody likes? So obviously I have a movie that like 90% of the world likes, is Star Wars, that I don't. What's a movie that you don't like that everybody else does? You like unpopular opinions that only are your opinion?
You ready?
Yeah.
This might cancel us, even though we're no. I'm not a big fan of the Harry Potter movies.
Okay. I
Not a
actually
big
like the
fan.
Harry Potter movies.
Yeah, not a big huge.
They
fan.
get kind of dark as they move on, though.
Because it just didn't hold my attention. They just didn't. I don't know why. And I really like the young girl in that movie, in those movies.
Yeah, she's a great actress.
And I thought she was going to end up with, like, a spoiler alert, huh?
Spoiler alert: Harry Potter's done for like years.
Well, yeah, well, I guess not. Yeah. But I thought she was going to end up with Harry.
That's logical.
But she ended up with the redhead.
Yeah.
That threw me off.
Which would never happen in real life. Who ends up with a redhead?
But those I couldn't tell you. I think I like the author. I think, I like what she stands for. But I just couldn't.
That might be an unpopular opinion.
Yeah, probably. But but those movies are.
So Harry
different.
Potter, that's the one that you.
I don't hate it. I don't hate them. I watched some of them.
Yeah.
But they just didn't.
No, that's cool.
Hold my
I mean,
attention.
you're open to more. I'm just I'm not big sci-fi. That's basically what we established.
If there's
probably
a movie,
Avatar sci-fi.
Avatar sci-fi.
Yeah, I liked Avatar.
Did you?
I did like Avatar.
That's sci-fi, bro.
I mean, call me a nerd. Let's go. When's Comic-Con?
No,
Book it. Let's go.
That's not close. Everybody liked Avatar.
Well, no.
Everybody liked Avatar.
Because Avatar is like a war movie, action movie, and then they got giant blue people.
Yeah. But it didn't affect you. It just rolled with the story.
Wait till you go to Disney World and you ride that ride.
Oh, I heard that's pretty good, too.
It's pretty cool.
I heard that's pretty good. But there isn't, like, on Netflix, if it's a movie that Netflix produced, I don't like it. I don't like it.
You're a snob.
No, it's because they end. Because when they end, you ever watch a movie
Yeah, I've watched one.
and you keep watching, and you're like, it's got to get better.
Oh, and
It's got to get better. And then the ending shows up, and you're like, what the?
Like 98% of Adam Sandler movies.
Oh, really? That's how you feel about it?
I'm not a big fan. Yeah. No, I'm not a big fan.
No, there's a lot of Netflix movies, and there's an actor. He's a local actor, Anthony Mackie. This movie, I can't remember the movie because I want to blot it on my mind. There's a sci-fi movie. The Earth is all messed up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. Anthony Mackie, right? The new Captain America.
I didn't know who that was.
The Falcon.
Okay, that's the one that
in
just
Marvel.
came.
Yeah.
Okay.
The new one. This is a movie he made several years ago before he became Captain America on Netflix. It was the Earth is in bad shape. You can't go below a certain level because not because of the monsters. That's a different movie, but there's something wrong with the atmosphere. and it's getting worse, and they have to get to space.
Naturally.
And they got to find these certain components to get out to go to space.
Okay. I mean that's it. Doesn't happen. I watched Minecraft the other day. Brought the dude to go see that at the movie.
I heard that's a fantastic movie.
I liked it. We didn't play Minecraft, but I thought the movie was solid. Jack Black
Did people throw popcorn and stuff?
Some kids, they reacted. The chicken fight, they all said the quote. I thought it was cool. Someone was complaining about it in Facebook land, and I'm like, come on, man. Like, don't be old guy. Like, the clouds still move. Like, just, chill out. Don't be that guy. But no, I thought the movie was good.
You know what I like about
Jason
that?
Momoa was awesome.
He is.
He was awesome. Like,
did you like him did you see the new Fast movie that he was in? Do you watch the Fast series, Fast and Furious series?
Fast and Furious. Yeah. I tapped, the best one was Tokyo Drift, and that's
the one people say is the worst one.
What are you talking about? That's the best one.
I like Tokyo Drift, but people say that's the worst one.
Obviously the best one. It's the best one. Tokyo Drift is obviously the best one.
The last one that Momoa was in.
No, I didn't see that one.
I guess the star didn't like the way he was acting in it. He was awesome in that.
Oh.
He was sort of
like
effeminate.
Vin Diesel got mad at him?
Yeah, that's what I understand.
He's pretty much a turd.
That's what I heard.
He's like a big social media positive influence guy.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
But I heard he's a turd.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true. That's my opinion.
It doesn't matter. Everybody. Who cares?
No, I mean, we only have what?
Yeah. So, how many people are really going to get... It's better not get back to Vin Diesel.
I know, huh?
I think he's like 5'2". I think I'm bigger than him.
No, he's not that short. He's like 6 foot.
There's no way.
Yeah.
You can't be that much of a turd and 6 foot tall.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to roll how tall Vin Diesel is. I'm saying definitely
The Rock is 6'5", and he was like...
You don't think that they put them on blocks to stand on?
There's a possibility, right?
There's definitely a possibility.
The magical.
I can't wait till you do the edit on this thing, and then we can find out that Vin Diesel is closer to 5'3" than he is to 6 foot.
Oh, if that's true, I'll put it up there.
Regardless,
I'll scroll it.
Put a picture of me standing next to Vin Diesel. Me, Vin Diesel.
I'll try to do that. Yeah. I'll try to figure that out.
We got the same haircut. That's about all.
But no, I think Momoa is a great actor.
No, he was really good in the Minecraft movie.
Yeah.
So we're digressing pretty far, but no, the Minecraft movie I thought it was pretty solid.
You know what I like about the Minecraft movie?
He played an old gamer.
An old gamer?
An old gamer. He was like stuck in the 90s kind of, or late 80s, whatever it was, and driving the Firebird and the jean jacket, and he was great. He was great. He was really funny in it.
I like that they're making more more money than Cinderella. Live action.
Gosh, yeah.
They're crushing Cinderella.
Yeah, Cinderella, that was an awkward one. So, and then Lilo and Stitch was in the previews. That looked pretty funny.
Oh, really?
Live action.
Yeah. Don't put your political views out there if you're an actor. Stop it.
No, they're great. They should put all their political views out there.
It just
because obviously, if you get paid millions to pretend, what you say about the world is the most important thing possible. You don't live in a fantasy land when you play fantasy land. So, but oh well. All right, we went on another little movie. All right, well, we went on another little movie tangent, but
he hasn't seen The Last Starfighter, and I think is a problem.
Anytime I can get Ray talking about Star Wars, I'm sorry guys, but we're gonna go down that route and just see how.
The last thing I'll say about The Last Starfighter, the last thing is they made trailer parks look cool in that movie.
Yeah, and they didn't even have meth in it.
No.
Amazing.
Not at all.
But
just a spaceship that landed in the middle of the trailer park.
So
that's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. Pretty cool, guys. Just like Ray's shirt. But so another dad rule: praise effort. All right, praise the effort that your kids give. Also, thanks everybody for joining us for another episode. Make sure you hit the like button, the subscribe button, the notification button. Leave us a comment. We know people are watching, and we're getting some feedback from people that we know on a personal level. And if you are one of those people, hit the subscribe button. Help us out. And but till next time, we'll see you again on
New Dad Order.
Appreciate you guys tuning in for an episode of the New Dad Order podcast. Ray and I out here trying to figure out ways to be a better dad. If you got a better way to help us be a better dad, drop a comment below, hit the like button, subscribe, and we'll be back next time trying to do the best we can.